The nominee himself spoke about Ora. The nominee himself stated in his CV, and I'm asking him questions about it. Then you say it is not relevant. Chairman, I'm pleading with you. I'm according you every respect. Let's have a smooth
inquisition. Let's have a smooth inquisition. Honorable nominee, your work aimed at recovering state assets,
lands that have been looted, etc. Which period are you looking at?
His Excellency the President has made clear that looting is looting, and it doesn't matter when it occurred. Once information emerges that it was an unconscionable transaction, we should document it. Remember that I have said that our work is with phase 1, information gathering. When we have presented our report to the President, phase 2 will kick in. That's where the Attorney General will take control, and we'll be looking at the recoveries, the actual retrievals, and if there has to be even prosecutions. Because remember that Oral's work is not only about properties. We also have the financial aspect, the causing financial loss to the state. So it's a more broader concept than often it is made to look.
Now, let's leave Ora for a moment and come back to your CV. Page 1 of your CV. You provided your address, P.O. Box AD 45 at Ablakwa, Accra. Is the address owned by you? Is it your own postal address, or is a family postal address that you are using?
It's a family postal address.
Then you have indicated home address, number 1, Wilshire Boulevard, Airport Hills. This property at Airport Hills, how long have you been living at Airport Hills?
About 8 years.
Is it your own property?
No, I am renting. I'm a tenant.
Airport Hills is dollar rented zone. Are you aware?
Honorable Member, can we have a clarification of dollar rented? Because in Ghana, we use CD. So I don't understand a dollar rented property. Does it mean you pay the rent in dollars?
Not necessarily.
I mean...
Okay. Okay, Honorable Member. So your rent, do you pay it monthly or you pay it annually?
Well, it depends. And Chair, I don't know if you want me to share the tenancy agreement with you, even though I'll have to
don't proceed.
Seek the permission of my dear wife, because we do it together.
Don't proceed. It is not in the interest of the company to be demanding for your tenancy agreement, let alone determining how much you pay as rent.
Okay. Well, I mean,
that is personal.
I like to be transparent. So
but that is personal.
But I respect your ruling, Mr. Chairman.
Chairman, you see,
we are in this public enterprise together. This is a nominee who,
desirous of protecting the public purse, holding people accountable, is able to inquire into how people earn their salaries, especially public officers, how people acquire properties and all. I think that it is only fair. For instance, in this inquisition, at least he came as prepared as possible with my own land that I have owned for over 25 years, which is good.
And that's not only what I have, by the way.
No
But
problem. No.
you
Provide,
continue.
honorable member. I am happy. I'm happy for you to share with the public all that you have on me. Read them aloud. No, please read them aloud. Honorable members, I want you, because you brought it up, I want you to share with the public all the properties that I have that you have uncovered, including my bank account. Share with the public. I'm happy for you to share. No, I want you to share because I want it to disclose. I am right here. No, I am right here. I am right here. I want you to disclose to the public all the properties that I own that you have.
Honorable Minority Leader, remember, I am the chair of the committee. If you ask a question that relates to that, fine. I can even overrule the question. So please, you are not allowed to mention the others unless the need arose. Proceed.
Honorable member, as part of your inquisition on me, did you discover some other properties that I own apart from what you have already mentioned? Which search result you shared? Are there others that you were able to uncover?
Is there inquisition in the first place, or you just gather information?
Don't worry, I will put it right if I should use gathered information.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I will disclose what I have at the right time. We are all following our strategy. You have a strategy, I have my strategy. So let's stick to our strategies.
So good. So, honorable nominee, as part of the information you've gathered thus far, the ones that you have gathered about me, can you disclose them to the public apart from what you have discovered?
I cannot at this point.
Honorable nominee, this property at the Airport Hills that you say you rent, and you've been renting it for 8 years, do you pay in cedis or you pay in dollars? Your rent, your tenant rent, do you pay in cedis or you pay in dollars?
In cities, we always pay the city equivalent.
Do you deduct withholding tax from your rent at source? Because every rent, there's a withholding tax element. And then you give the receipts to the landlord. Do you deduct at source and pay to GRA, or you just pay your rent and it doesn't matter how the landlord goes about it?
Honorable members, this is a legal question. It's in two ways. The landlord can choose to pay the rent, and the landlord can agree with the tenant for the tenant to also pay it. And it depends the duration.
So he's opening it up for clarity. So choose the part you would want to answer.
I'm not allowing you to answer that question.
Chairman, please say so for the records. I didn't get that you have.
Question overruled.
That's okay. No problem. Honorable member, on your CV, you have indicated on page 2 Page 2. Are you there with me? We have former Managing Director, Savvy Solutions. Now share with us when you registered this company.
'18.
Are you the sole shareholder of this company, please?
Yes, I am, but
As
it's
honorable member-
defunct.
Honorable member, the fact that you are a managing director of a company does not suggest that you are even a shareholder,
Yeah,
let alone being the sole shareholder.
yeah.
So the question is overruled.
Are you a shareholder of the company?
The company is defunct, so I'm no longer working or operating this company.
Were you a shareholder of the company?
Sole shareholder.
From which year to which year did you operate this company?
Just about a year. It was short-lived.
What was the nature of the business of the company?
So it was a communications and PR firm, and because I was appointed Deputy Minister for Information, I saw that there will be potential conflict, and so I decided to wind down to avoid a conflict of interest situation.
Honorable member, you served as a Deputy Minister of Information between 2009 to 2013. A moment ago, you said the company was registered in 2018. Please, can you bring clarity? Because you said 2018.
No,
and
I
you
meant
just-
2008. Thanks for the 2008. So let the record be corrected.
Take
April 2008.
Please
not-
kindly take
yeah.
the leave of chair.
So, Mr. Chairman, with your leave,
2008.
2008, not 2018. Yeah, 2008.
You do not own any other company, correct?
I'm a director in one company which is yet to take off. It's a farming arrangement that we are working on. I and a number of people, but it's just been registered, but we haven't fully taken off. We haven't fully started operations. And that's, if Mr. Chairman, you want me to provide the name, that's Volta Clenam Farms. We're going to go into massive cassava production. We want to produce starch from cassava. But it's still in the gestation period. We haven't taken off yet. So we've just registered a company, and we're still holding talks with potential interest parties.
So if you say you've just registered the company, you mean you've registered it as a Registrar General's Department, correct?
Absolutely.
And you are the sole shareholder, correct?
No, I'm not. There are others. I don't think I have their permission to go public with the identity.
Okay, so you agree with me that to go public with information related to people, you necessarily will need their privacy, correct?
It depends on the
consent.
context and the circumstances. Yeah, it
Yes,
depends.
that's. Can you?
Because these are private individuals. They are not public officials.
That's the point. So I
Yeah.
just needed clarity. So you have drawn the distinction that if these individuals are in the public service, their consent and permission is not needed because it will be in the public interest. Correct?
Yeah, absolutely.
But if they are private individuals, putting out their names will require their consent and authorization, correct?
If they are not politically exposed. Sometimes you can have politically exposed private individuals. So that's why I say it depends on the circumstances. I mean, in these matters, you have to look at all the parameters.
What I'm saying is that, so let me rely on your word. So you're saying that if these people are politically exposed, there is no such requirement for their consent before you put out their names, if I got you right.
I have stated that it depends on the circumstances. So case by case, you make a determination.
But you are aware that per the Companies Act and then the anti-money laundering law that we passed, we amended to Act 824 something. Yes, Act 824. These individuals that you jointly own shares with in this company are politically exposed by virtue of the association with you. You'd agree with me?
Honorable member, the question is overruled. This is purely a legal question, but the statement is not correct.
Now, you say you are going into cassava production in commercial quantities. You have acquired the land already?
It will be a cooperative, so we will not acquire the land. We've discussed an interesting concept where the community owns, say, the community will contribute land. The youth will be involved. It's part of next initiatives I want to introduce as a member of parliament in Northtown. You know, so it's all geared towards job creation and, you know, promoting agriculture amongst the youth. So that's the kind of concept we are looking at, more of, you know, a communal approach where families who own land will, you know, bring it, young people volunteer, and then the proceeds will be shared amongst those who sign up for the cooperative program. So it's quite an interesting concept. That's what we are looking at. So we haven't bought any land at this point.
So, Honorable Foreign Minister Designate, in your constituency, do you own any property there? Like the way I own a property in my constituency, do you also own a property in your constituency?
Yes, I do.
With us, how long you've owned this property?
It's a property I use about 10 years to build. Simple 4-bedroom, 1 kitchen, no boys' quarters, no swimming pool, no tennis court. That's a simple structure. I've seen a lot of propaganda out there that I own a $3 million mansion in my constituency, largely fueled by propagandists in your party. But I don't own $3 million in Afenyo. I mean, absolutely preposterous and ridiculous. I mean, those who attended my dad's funeral saw the property. Very simple property, built over a 10-year period. So if you want descriptions, that's what I can give you.
The land, how did you acquire the land? So, for example, in my case, I buy it from the chiefs and the ASAFO, but I still would have to go and pay again at the Lands Commission because their title, their document they give, you can't register because of vested land. Do you have a similar situation in your area?
No, mine family land. So, and because I'm member of parliament, they were very, very generous. It was largely a donation, just a little token to show appreciation. You know how people are very happy to reward people who are serving them diligently in their communities. So it was within that spirit.
So, like, you're saying that it's a family land, but it was
Honorable
given to
members,
you.
order.
You are saying that the land upon which you built was a gift to you from a family because of your hard work as a member of parliament?
That's not what I said. I said it belongs to a family. It's not a government land. It's owned by a family. And I'm saying that they didn't really let me pay a commercial value. I mean, I have to be grateful to them, and that's all I'm doing. So a little token, a little appreciation, really, but nothing significant.
So you have a lease to the land? You have a lease?
Not yet, not yet.
So, as far as you are concerned, that simple property, as you've described it, in your constituency, is the only property you own, correct? Or you own some other properties?
Mr. Chairman, I think the Vice Chairman is engaging Mr. Chairman, so. Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I'll need your guidance on that question on the properties I own. Because I've declared my assets, so if you want to get a copy of my asset declaration from the Auditor General. But Mr. Chairman, I leave it in your hands.
Referring to the Assets Declaration
Yes.
Act, it is for a stated reason that you file it and the envelope is not even open. So in that vein, I would disallow the question.
Okay, Chairman, so let me get clarity. So on this table, what you are saying is that the nominee is not obliged to disclose the properties that he has. I mean, just so that I'm guided. If you're saying that a nominee getting into public service, who is a public-spirited individual, who gathers information as to what people own in public life, how politicians live their lives, in this case, he's not obliged to disclose. I'm fine. That's okay.
Let's do what the law requires from us. The law requires that you file your asset declaration.
Man, I'm not talking about the law. I never went into asset declaration. I asked a very simple question. He said at the Airport Hills, based on the information here, he says that he's a tenant at Airport Hills. He's lived there as a tenant for 8 years. Then he himself disclosed that people have been making all manner of propaganda. He owns this, he owns that. However, in his constituency, just as I do, he has a simple house, and that simple house has a 4-bedroom, no boys' quarters, no swimming pool. I have a swimming pool in Winba. In fact, I have two. My beachfront and my White House. I have 2 big swimming pools. I have them. I have a boys' quarters, yes. And I have had them for years, which is different from you. Yeah, well, it's a fact. So I want to know from you whether you have other properties.
His disclosure clearly is a voluntary disclosure. But what you are seeking to do is for him to disclose his assets publicly. The law says that you declare it, they keep the envelope, they don't even open it. As to whether that is right or not, that is apparently the law.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I've placed on record that I am happy for the committee to engage with the Auditor General to have a copy of my asset declaration, if you so wish. I mean, I'm not opposed to that, but I can state on the record that I have never purchased a government land, if that is what is of interest to the minority leader. I've never bought a government land, if that is, or a public land or a state land, if that is where he's headed.
Interruption, that's an issue we have to deal with.
Now, Honorable Chairman, Mr. Chairman, I just want us to put this matter to a peaceful rest so that we are all clear. I understand that as a requirement of law and by law, we are to make an asset declaration sealed in an envelope deposited with the Auditor General. Are you therefore saying that in view of that law, nominees that appear before us are not obliged to make a disclosure of properties that they own? If so, I will respect it. I just want clarity as to your ruling.
Yes, by imperative of that law, you cannot publicly ask anybody to publicly disclose his assets. That is why the disclosure of the access, in the wisdom of the framers of the law, is confidential.
Honorable nominee, let us deal with this combine harvester that you used your car loan to acquire for your constituents. So the use of the combine harvester, do the farmers pay for the use of it?
So the Afenyo rice farmers have a cooperative, and they make it's heavily subsidized, so they make a little contribution which they use to service the combine harvester, to buy fuel and all of that. So it's their internal arrangement for servicing and buying fuel.
So, honorable nominee, are they in the process paying back the facility?
No, they are not to pay back.
So, my respected colleague, let's go to April 8th, you publicly demanded on Twitter that former President Akufo-Addo should submit an annual presidential staffers report. And I'm quoting you. We demand the annual report now. Unquote. However, official records show that this report had already been submitted by the presidency to Parliament on the March 25, 2024, and formally acknowledged by the Speaker's office on March 28, 2024.
Nearly 2 weeks before your demand. As someone who is being nominated as our chief diplomat, this office requires meticulous attention to facts and careful verification before making public statements. Can you explain, one, what steps you took to verify your information before making your demand public? That's the first one.
The Clerk of Parliament, Mr. Jethro, will confirm to you that I called him to find out if the presidential staffers list had been submitted, and he responded that it had not been submitted. And you need to recall that consistently over the 8-year period is one of the items my caucus asked me to specialize in. And consistently, I've had to, it's been really a difficult struggle to get the presidency to comply with that act. And you know that most often it is submitted after the March deadline. In April 2018, I thought that consistent with that track record, they had also missed the mark. And indeed, I did verify from the clerk at table, Mr. Jethro, before I put out that tweet.
But you subsequently became aware that indeed the presidency had submitted the search information ahead of your publication, correct?
So I saw a tweet, an X post by counsel to the president responding to my post that they had submitted it earlier. So I took steps to follow up from the Speaker's office. And I can't place on record that I have been pursuing that document since. Strangely, I haven't seen it, despite my pursuit. And it's not been laid in the House, which is really strange. I don't know what happened to that document in transit. But we don't have copies. No MP has been given a copy, which I find really strange.
The fact is that the Speaker's office confirmed receipt of the said document way ahead of your publication.
I wouldn't know that. President, Speaker communicating, writing letters to each other directly, they don't copy MPs. So I wouldn't know. I did my check, diligent check at the table office. Mr. Jethro told me it had not been submitted. And I then reminded the president that he has to comply. And if you check consistently, I've been reminding the president, and the president has not been complying with the law on this matter.
Well, for me, I believe that the recipient of said communication is the Speaker's office. And to be fair to the president and all presidents, not only Akufo-Addo, our current president, once the communication is delivered to the Speaker's office, I believe that it would only be fair that even if our initial diligence search could not reveal the delivery of such, once we become aware, it is only fair that we acknowledge same and take note. I think, in all fairness to President Akufo-Addo, he did not break the law. But if you don't want to acknowledge that fact, I won't press you on that. I will just move to my next question. But the fact is that at the time you put out your information, the document has already been ferried to the Speaker's office 2 weeks earlier, and you can always verify. Let me move to the next question. In March 2021, you resigned from the appointment committee, citing personal and principled reasons. You chose to act independently rather than to align with the collective decision process of your caucus. Now, as Minister of Foreign Affairs, that is when approved, you will be required to represent and defend Ghana's collective cabinet positions, even when they might differ from your personal views. Now, how do you reconcile your past actions with this fundamental requirement of cabinet collective responsibility, and what assures this committee that you would uphold this principle if confirmed as minister?
Well, thank you very much. I am a conviction politician. I have certain principles and certain standards. And the principle, if there's a cabinet position you don't agree with, you resign. If you stay on, then you must defend that cabinet position. So if it's a matter I feel strongly about, I'm not one who finds it difficult to walk away, to preserve my convictions and my philosophies.
Thank you. Thank you. I refer you to a publication by graphic.com.gh on 12 September 2017, where former Attorney General, Mr. Martin Amidu, documented several instances where you allegedly engaged in confrontational exchanges with senior political figures, including your interactions with him on Isophoton case. Now, let's hear from you. Did you engage the former AG with a view to facilitating the payment due Isophoton at the time?
Well, thank you very much. At the time, I was Deputy Minister for Information, and I received a petition, came to the ministry, and I'm glad that former Ministers of Information are here. I see the Honorable Mahama Ayariga. It is key to the mandate of the Ministry of Information to receive feedback and ferry that information to the relevant quarters. So in this case, there was a petition from the director of Isophoton, and all I did was to forward that. And if you, Mr. Chair, you give me the permission to read from the current Ministry of Information's website. I have a printout here, a statement introducing the ministry, signed by the former Minister for Information, the Honorable Fatima Abubakar. And she states here, and Ghanaians who are watching can log onto the website of the Ministry of Information, which is appears to be now defunct, by the way. The Honorable Fatima Abubakar writes, quote, "Our goal as a ministry is to empower the citizens of Ghana through information dissemination, to ensure transparency and accountability in public policy cycles. The mandate of the Ministry of Information is to facilitate the gathering of feedback for the executive branch of government," unquote. This is President Akufo-Addo's Minister for Information. And that's all I was doing in the Isophoton matter.
Okay, so if so, why then would he describe you, I mean, from what you are saying, public office holder, you received a petition, you have forwarded it to his office. First of all, let me understand you. Did you forward the petition requesting for payment through your ministry by a letter? Did you write to his office?
No, I was not requesting for payment. I was only serving as a conveyor belt. This has been brought to the Ministry of Information. We collect feedback for various government agencies. So please receive this. That was all. I didn't pass any judgment. I'm not the Attorney General. I mean, how dare you dictate to the Attorney General on what to do? So
Now, members, let's make progress.
So, if you only ferried the letter to him, why would he therefore describe you as uncouth and somebody who has been insulting elders? Because he stated so. I mean, if there was no verbal engagement, but just a letter you wrote, how would he give you such a description?
well, first of all, I would like to see that publication because
It on the 12th September 2017. It's still online, so you can peruse it. That's why I wanted clarity, that what was the mode of interaction. And you have said it was through a formal letter you sent to his office regarding the petition you received from Isofota, meaning you didn't phone him to talk to him. So if you didn't do so, how he gave you this description is why I want to know your view on it.
I mean, fortunately, I've been
Honorable member.
I've been in the public space.
Honorable member, hold it. The question is a bit nebulous. How somebody have a view about you, you may not have control over it. So the question is either rephrased or overruled.
Chairman, you reserve the sole right on admissibility. I will respect that, always. Honorable nominee, I'm sure you become aware that the new president of the United States, through some executive orders, has been very tough on immigration and all. Obviously, without being hypothetical, there may be Ghanaians in the United States who don't have documents. How prepared are you for possible mass deportations, considering the situation we find ourselves? Share with us some strategies you intend to put in place to warmly see our compatriots safely back to Ghana.
This is a matter that is of concern to a lot of Ghanaians. And since my nomination, I have diligently inquired from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs what the status is. There have been publications that about 6,200 Ghanaians will be affected. But from the brief that has been shared with me from the officials at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they allay fears that the numbers are not that high, and that currently the official communication the ministry has received from Washington is 156, not 6,200, 156 Ghanaians who face imminent deportation. And indeed, they indicate that about 40 of them have been asked to be, they've asked the mission in Washington to process those people expeditedly to be deported. It's clear that President Trump is really serious about this, his executive order. If you follow what happened to the Colombians, when the Colombian president refused to accept Colombians who were being deported, we saw that immediately President Trump announced trade sanctions, and Colombia has had to retreat. So I think that the strategy that we should deploy as a country is to ensure that our missions abroad extend consular services to all of these persons. They are our compatriots. We must be concerned about their welfare. And if we have to give them legal assistance, that's why earlier I talked about the consular fund. We need to quickly populate that fund. And I'm happy that the distinguished Minister of Finance is here as we work on the 2025 budget. It is a line item I would really be appealing to his ministry to approve, so that we would have a consular fund for the first time, so that that fund will be available, legal support, you know, consular assistance. At least let's do our best so that if they have a case to remain in those countries, they stay. And then if they have to be received by us, it is also done in a humane way that respects their rights. So we are not going to leave them there to struggle on their own. We will let them feel and know that the government of Ghana, the people of Ghana, care about their plight, and that we are doing our best to extend to them consular assistance.
Chairman, with your leave, I want to apply for a post-trade break, 5-minute post-trade break.
Leave humbly granted. Honourable members, order. Honourable members, the meeting is called to order. Please take a seat and let's make progress.